Every year in the NFL, it's a new team. As far as goals go, we have one. Putting a f***ing ring on our finger.
Welcome to the Buccaneers Observer Podcast. This is Ralph Phillips.
I'm Molly Bay.
Today is 11/11/2021, Veterans Day.
Yay.
Yes.
Happy Veterans Day to all of our veteran listeners.
Yes, happy Veterans Day to you.
Is that what you do with Veterans Day?
What?
Happy Veterans
Happy
Day?
Veterans Day?
Yeah, I don't know what the...
Happy Veterans Day. Yeah, I know. What do you do?
What's the correct... Do you
You
guys
salute,
get cards?
but that doesn't come across
I know.
on a podcast.
I don't think so.
Yeah, what is it? How do you... Happy Veterans Day? I don't know. It's a good question.
Seen some people putting flags out in the neighborhood, so that's nice.
We're not very patriotic. We don't know. How about that?
I know. Maybe someone will tell us.
All right, guys. Bye week is almost over. We've got the Washington Redskins coming up, so we're going to discuss that. Molly's got somewhat of a breakdown. Is this the only podcast we're going to do? We're going to do one tomorrow?
I don't think so. No.
When the full injury report comes out. So this is the preview for the Washington Redskins game.
This is it.
All right. We got a good show for you. We got some Bucks news. We have some league news. And then we're going to get into the Washington Redskins preview. Where do you want to start off?
Okay, let's do some Bucks news. I'm just going to run through it real quick.
Okay.
Well, maybe not real quick. We don't have to do it fast. We got a whole show. Devin White was fined twice for the horse collar tackle that where Jameis Winston tore his ACL. So he got called for roughing the passer and... Oh, no. Okay. Scratch that. I worded that weird. He was fined twice for the Saints game. One was for the horse collar tackle, and that was $15,450. He got fined for that unnecessary roughness, and then he got fined for the taunting penalty, $10,300.
Good Lord.
I know. So
that's
that
ridiculous.
Game cost him almost $26,000.
Man. Speaking of the taunting penalty, I don't know if y'all watched the Chicago Bears-Pittsburgh game. Was it last Thursday night?
Monday. It was Monday.
Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
My God, did the Bears get robbed. It was some of the worst officiating I've seen since Sunday.
Since Sunday.
It is.
They really topped it there. They outdid themselves.
I'm telling you, football is getting almost unbearable to watch.
And I saw some insinuation that now that they're allowing sports betting, you're getting these really trash calls, and it makes people wonder.
That's what I had written down, and we've talked about this for quite a few years here on the podcast. Every single major sports league in the world has had referee scandals, except the NFL. The NFL has not had one single referee scandal, especially one involving gambling. Now, I'm not a mathematician, but that's impossible.
Oh my gosh. I was like, has the NBA? Yes, they have.
Oh, yeah.
2007.
Yeah.
Betting scandal.
Yes. And it's impossible. It is literally impossible. Now, the NFL is notoriously secretive. They keep everything in-house, and it's happened, and they've just quietly pushed it under the rug. And we've seen with the way the NFL has been handling things especially the past decade, that they're not on the up and up. Mm-mm. They're very politically influenced. We know that now, and they're very quick to hide stuff.
Or come out with stuff when it's politically convenient.
Yes. The whole CTE, Dougal Bongle, or whatever it's called, that's just a complete mess. And that's one of the reasons why we have some of these crappy rules. It's because of the whole player safety mantra. But you have to ask yourself, I mean, some of those calls in that Monday Night Football game, I mean, even the announcers were like, this is something weird is going on here. And then you listen to Pat McAfee and his show. Oh, my God, did he lay into him? I mean, he made no bones about the fact that he hated that ref in particular. It was an ego thing for that ref. He just laid into him.
Was that the one where the ref leaned his butt into a guy and then called him for, what was the flag?
It was taunting, but the guy was running off the field. He was running back to the bench, and the ref, you could see it. I saw it live, and I was like, what the was that? I mean, the ref kind of like tried to hip check him as he was running by. I mean, he definitely, and he did his elbow out too to try and hit the guy. And the guy wasn't even
looking at him. I mean, he was running by with his head turned the other direction.
Right, which makes you wonder, was the ref trying to get hit so that he could throw a penalty? He was going to throw a penalty no matter what, and he was trying to make it look like, and as Pat McAfee said, he probably had somebody in his ear as soon as he did that going, hey, everybody just saw that. You can't throw the flag for that. You intentionally tried to bump into the player. But there's just weird stuff going on. I mean, we stereotype, no matter how much we don't like to, but we stereotype people, and we like to think that referees are above humans. Same thing we do with scientists and police officers and teachers and all that. Mm-hmm. We attribute all these characteristics to them based on their job, when in reality, they're people just like us. They got the same egos, greed, desire for status, money, all that good stuff. They're fallible just like we are. And that they never had an NFL referee scandal is impossible. I'm here to say it. It's impossible. They've had them. They've just hid them. And, with the whole gambling thing, we've talked about that. We don't particularly agree with the fact that the NFL is endorsing in gambling. It would be so easy now, especially with all the subjective penalties, for refs to throw the games. And we saw it with our game. Those penalties were ridiculous. And then that Chicago game, it was blatant right there for everybody to see. The one penalty where the touchdown got taken away because the guy did a low block outside the tackle or the tight end box. The announcers immediately had the graphic up showing that he was not outside the tight end box. That screwed the refs. I mean, they put it up immediately. They were like, ooh. So, there's some weird stuff going on, weird stuff. But even if you say the refs are throwing games or whatever, take that out of the picture. It's impossible for them to do their job with these stupid rules now. And we've talked about this on the podcast, but in physics and engineering, there's a saying that the more complex a system is, the easier it is to break, or the more likely it is to break. And the rule book, if you go and you read the rule book, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's doubled in size in the past 10 years. The rules are very generalized and vague, and sometimes they don't even make sense. You need a professional to interpret it for you, and it shouldn't be that way. Anytime anything gets to that point, it's prime to be destroyed and broken.
I know. When you have all the major networks employ a former official to come interpret calls for
they're always
audience,
wrong.
They're
always wrong with the call on the field. They'll be like, oh, this is going to get overturned. And it's not. And they're like, well, that's surprising. Mm-hmm. I always bet against the officials.
Well, I mean, that kind of just goes to show, doesn't it, how garbage and subjective these calls can be?
Right. Now, it's one of the things I liked about the tuck rule. I hated the tuck rule. I thought it was stupid. But the one thing I did like about it is that it was completely objective. If the arm was going forward, it was a pass. Now, it was dumb, but it was objective. And it's kind of the same way with the hitting the quarterback in the head rule. I mean, I'm kind of fine with it if you can objectively go, okay, he touched the quarterback's helmet, so technically that's a foul. You might not agree with it and everything, but you can do that. But taunting, I mean, and why?
Why?
Right.
Why?
Well,
Who cares? What impact? What is it doing to the game that's so detrimental?
Oh, it's ruining it.
It makes it more fun.
It's kind of like when they took out celebrations. It was like, what? Now they put them back in. You're like, well, why even do it? It kind of reminds me of Prohibition in the 20s. It was like, it was just a disaster all across the board. Well, why'd you even do it?
Yeah. Well, it's the same. Remember the pass interference issues where you could challenge and then, that was a year and then they took it away.
Right. Well, the refs didn't like that.
Yeah.
So they just they were like spoiled kids and we're like, well, they whine about it. And they were like, we're not going to change it. We know it looks like a catch, but we're not going to change it. But the NFL right now seems to be more worried about their political messaging than they are the entertainment product. And that's bad. That's bad. I said almost a decade ago, I said that the way that the NFL is going, it's going to be a shadow of itself in a decade is what I said. I think I still got like 3 years left on that. I swear we're heading toward it. I know a lot of people. I got a lot of friends and stuff who they just can't watch football anymore. I was out talking with a guy, the Chicago Bear guy, our neighbor. We were out throwing the football and we were talking about it. And he was saying, he was like, I don't know if I can watch football anymore. These penalties are just too much, and there's almost everybody I talk to is like that. So they've got to do something. They got to do something. They're ruining the product because they want this messaging stuff.
Well, I just think NFL leadership is completely out of touch and tone deaf to what the fan base actually wants.
Right. Well,
and I don't feel like they're overly concerned with it either.
Right. And NASCAR did this and totally ruined their sport. NASCAR was the fastest growing sport in the early aughts, late 90s, early aughts, fastest growing sport in the world. And they ruined it because they tried to decrease the amount of accidents and make it family friendly. Now, those were their two goals. Now, I'm sorry, everybody that watches NASCAR, I don't care what they say, they watch it for the accidents. They watch it for the wrecks. That's the huge draw to NASCAR. I mean, people like to see this stuff. And you might morally, ethically, you might go, oh, that's not good and everything. But it's human nature. Look at the gladiator days and the Romans. This is all sports it's a simulation of war, and we do it so that we don't have wars. They are in place of wars.
Right. It's an outlet. I mean, we talked about this all last year. It's an outlet for people to burn off steam and it scratches that itch. It's that tribe. You get a tribe. You simulate war and competition.
Yep. And it keeps people from going to war. If you've got sports as an outlet, then it keeps people from wanting to murder each other.
Well, and
it's just human nature.
Yeah.
We're tribal.
But when you look at football, okay, so 15 years ago, there would be shows where they showed all the hardest
big hits. Oh,
the big hits.
Yeah.
And
I love those.
Yeah, and they would replay them and, and so, the NFL wanted to get away from that with all the CTE stuff. They were like, oh, we can't be celebrating that, which, okay, fine. Like I can see, now it's even, you can't even say, like Joe Buck's fan got in trouble because they said Devin White's hit on Jameis that knocked him out of the game was the biggest play of the season. And you can't even say that. Like people are mad at him for that. And so, okay, so we're going to get rid of the big hits. Fine. But then now it's like they're taking away all the fun stuff. So big hits, we can't celebrate those anymore. Can't appreciate those.
Right.
Because we don't want to seem like we're rooting for people to get injured. But now it's even...
You can't hit the quarterback.
You can't hit the quarterback. I know you got to lay him down softly.
Yes.
Like
you can't put your weight on them.
Yeah.
You can't touch their helmets.
And then... But they're going even further. You can't celebrate. Okay, we'll bring that back. That's fine. But now taunting, you can't even taunt.
Right.
Like, are we serious?
Right.
Like, what's left?
Right. And the Chicago game is a perfect example of how screwed up this rule is because you can't read people's thoughts. And the guy went and he looked at the Chicago Bears sideline and that was taunting.
He wasn't even over there by the time the ref had.
He was 20 yards away. He was standing at the hash.
Yeah.
Right. It's not like he ran over to the sideline and he started calling them all names and talking about their moms or stuff like that. I mean, he just ran over to the hash mark, the closest hash mark, which is 20 yards away. And he, kind of stuck his hands out, kind of like Achilles did in Troy. Is there no one else? or in Gladiator, he was like, are you not entertained?
Yeah.
That's how the sense I got from it.
Yeah.
It was a big play and a big moment.
I love that.
Yes.
Why?
Everybody does, except for Pittsburgh fans.
I know.
So, what we're doing is we're charging the officials to mind read in that situation. And you can't, it's just not, it's not tenable. And now with this stuff and the rules, people who make rules and regulations and stuff like that, they never seem to understand the law of unintended consequences. It's come to be used as an adage or idiomatic warning that an intervention in a complex system tends to create unanticipated and often undesirable consequences. That's exactly what we're seeing now. I mean, the NFL is shedding viewerships because every game you watch, every play, you got to look down and see if there's a flag. And then, you've got these great spectacular plays that are being called back for minor, invisible infractions. And people just don't want to put up with that. And they're losing, viewers. I personally know people that have stopped watching the game over the past few years, based on politics and the refereeing and all the stupid penalties and the way they're pushing the game. And it makes me sad.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I agree.
Anyhow, that was a tangent we got off on.
I know. How did that happen?
We're doing Bucs news and we end up talking about the refs. So it's something to look at going forward if the refs are going to adjust. It doesn't look like it. I mean, here we are halfway through the season and they're still doing this stuff. They call
the
them,
NFL has doubled down.
Right, yes.
The owners are coming out and going, oh, yeah, this is a good thing. Like, you are tone deaf and you have no idea why people watch the sport.
Right. And, they say these fouls are points of emphasis. That's what they call them. Point of emphasis rules and fouls because they want to really push it. Taunting. We're ruining the game because of taunting. Now, I remember when Greg Schiano was here and the media just went ballistic because they said, he's dealing with grown men, and, he's treating them like kids or college students and everything. I'm like, what? It's an emotional, passionate sport. These guys are putting their physical bodies on the line. They go through a lot of mental training, a lot of physical training and everything. Yet you're going to get some of that. It's almost impossible to keep guys from doing that. And just the fact that they're even trying just goes to show, like you said, how out of touch they are with everything.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get back to some Bucs news. I like that rant, though. That was a good one. You got to clip that one. So our weekly practice squad protections, we had tight end Cody McElroy, kicker Jose Borregales, safety Troy Warner, and cornerback Bleedy Ray Wilson.
Bleedy.
Okay. I'm just making sure that was this week. I didn't know we had Bleedy.
I did not either. We get a lot of guys where I'm just like,
yeah,
who,
they
what?
go back and forth. I know.
Yeah.
Well, here's
we turned the bottom.
We did
percentile.
So we did that this week. We got rid of wide receiver John Hurst and tight end Dion Yelder from the practice squad, and then we brought in Brashad Perriman.
Perriman's back on the team.
And tight end Darren Fells, who played with the Lions. He was a former Lion. So
I'm glad we got Perriman back. You remember him I think it was 2019. Evans went out. I think Evans and Godwin both were out, and Perriman had to be the number one, and this was a Jameis Winston, and he just lit it up.
Yeah, and it was crazy because it was him and Jameis had not clicked like that whole season. They were kind of inconsistent together, and when he got that number one spot, it was just crazy because he was making these ridiculous catches.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Like you saw him, and I can remember one, I think he was on the sideline, and the ankle was kind of obscured by a defender. You could not see Perriman. You were like, there's no freaking way he made that catch. He made it.
Yes, he did.
And it was just awesome. So,
and I remember watching him in the offseason when we got him. I watched him on tape with the Jets. And I was blown away. I was like, this guy is elite. He is a number one receiver. And I was like, we got a good deal here. He's just never really panned out anywhere. And, even with us, he's going to be fourth, fifth man.
Yeah.
If he makes the starting roster.
Right.
I think he might play this week because Godwin's got a hurt foot.
Foot injury. And Antonio Brown, they're saying he had the boot off during practice, but he's probably not going to go.
How about Gronkowski? Any word on him?
No, probably. BA was saying probably another couple weeks with him.
Damn.
Which, that's not unusual. It's unusual for Gronk to be healthy a whole season.
Right.
And normally, I'm not a big fan of players like that, but Gronk is like a whole different beast.
Mm-hmm.
We'll forgive him.
Yeah.
He's so productive when he is there that it just makes up for any time he misses. But Adam Schefter is saying that Perriman, well, this is per Drew Rosenhaus, Perriman's agent, that Perriman, he's going to start off on the practice squad, but we anticipate moving him to the active roster soon.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if this week.
Yeah.
I mean, he knows the offense.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. The only thing is building chemistry with Tom Brady, which I think is going to be a lot easier than it was with Winston.
Wouldn't that be something if those two just hit it off and
whoa,
bam, bam. Kevin Perriman, he's a damn good receiver, man. He just, I don't know what it is. That's, he was a number one first round draft pick, and he was with the Jets, and nobody ever works out with the Jets. And he's just never really latched on. And I don't know why. There's so many players like that happens to where I'm just like, wow, they're really good, but some reason they just don't make it.
Well, I think it's just the caliber of talent in the NFL. I mean, it's just so stacked.
Well, I think it's that, and we're not in the industry. We're not coaches, and coaches look at stuff totally different than normal people do. They're looking for guys that are, quote, coachable or fit their system, whatever. And so they're looking for totally different stuff than what we would look at or what I would look at. But I've seen players that I've been like, wow, these guys are lighting it up. And then they get cut for no reason, or, we don't re-sign them or whatever. Danny Lanzana is one that I'm just like, Keith Tandy, they get on the field. They're playmakers, but they never got starting jobs. They, were on and off practice squads, all this good stuff. And I'm just like, wow, that's weird, because when they're on the field, they are lighting stuff up. They're the playmakers. And, it's apparently they're just not good at practice, or they're not coachable or something. I don't know. It's weird.
Maybe they're weirdos in the locker room. I got a correction. He was drafted by the Ravens in 2015.
Perriman was?
Yeah.
Okay. First round, though?
Yeah. So, 26 overall. And then he went to the Redskins, and then the Browns, and then he came to us in 2019. Then he went to the Jets. Then the Lions, got cut in the preseason by the Lions. And then he went to the Bears. He's been with the Bears beginning of the season.
Gosh, he's been with some crappy teams.
I know.
For passing, for sure.
Yeah.
So it was the Browns he was with before he came to us.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I watched on Game Film now. I might have watched Baltimore, too. I think I went through quite a few years of his. He didn't start a lot. That was the thing. I think with the Ravens, they drafted him, but he didn't start for like a year.
Oh,
and then when he
weird.
did start, he only played a few games. And that's kind of been his career. I don't understand it. I don't get it. Because when he started for us, he played great.
Yeah.
And when he started with the Ravens, he played great. There's some reason why he just doesn't make a roster.
There.
Yeah. Speaking of I'm jumping around a little bit here.
That's okay.
Speaking about the Browns and the crappy teams. How about the underdog week?
Oh, I have that in the game preview.
Okay.
Okay. Well, let's kind of talk about it. No, we'll talk about it now. Yeah, I'm just saying it was upset week.
The upset week. There's always one.
There's always 1 week. And it's when all your pick'ems, you're just totally screwed. You get everything wrong.
We've been documenting this for a decade now. I think we talk about it every year on the podcast. There's always that 1 week where all the underdogs win.
It just goes crazy.
Yeah, and it extremely helped us out. Everybody we needed to lose lost except for the Arizona Cardinals. And, we moved up in the standings in the NFC. I think we're second. We're right behind the Cardinals, I think. Yeah. Is that right?
I don't know.
And it's great when that happens during a bye week. You don't even play and you end up winning.
It's not, I know, because I feel like had we played, if this Washington game was week 9 instead of week 10, we might have lost. Right. I mean, there was that chance. Jacksonville beat Buffalo. That one was ridiculous. 9-6. Like, are we serious? That happened.
I know. Jacksonville beat Buffalo.
I love that.
Nobody saw that coming.
9-6 too. It's like all field goals.
That's 3, 4, 5 field goals.
Yeah.
Good Lord. The field goal, it's a kicker year.
Or it's a touchdown and a missed extra point, but I think it was. I'm gonna look at it. Pretty sure it was.
No, I was wrong. We're not second.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, we're not. Let me see. The Dallas Cowboys are 6-2, so they're tied with us, but we got the tiebreaker there. Green Bay Packers are 7-2, so they're ahead of us. And the Arizona Cardinals are 8-1. So what's that put us? Third or fourth? Third in the NFC?
Mm-hmm. Something like that. Yeah. Denver beat Dallas. So that was good for us, but they're still 7-2.
Third. We're third.
We're third.
Yeah.
Okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
In striking distance.
Oh, yeah.
At this time of the year, and we haven't even popped off yet. So
I know.
We're in great shape, guys. The biggest one was the Falcons beating New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
Which...
We watched that game twice, and I still don't remember anything about it.
I don't. Okay, I'm so glad because I don't.
Cordero Patterson, I remember him. It was kind of a boring game. Cordero, yeah, Peterson, whatever. He's lighting it up with Atlanta.
Yeah. They always get these running backs, though. They're going to let him go next year. That's what they do.
Well, he's not even a running back. He's a wide receiver.
Yeah, well, I think didn't they convert him to?
He's like a Pat McAfee. He's just hybrid. Everything, yeah.
Well, I think because his size is weird. Like I think he's smaller. Guy. Really?
Yeah. No,
I thought he was smaller.
DK Metcalf size. He's huge.
Really? I get it.
Man, maybe we're not watching the same stuff.
Maybe not.
Yeah, look him up, see his size and stuff. Did you notice, and I've been saying this all year, and how weird Matt Ryan is playing? Did you notice it in that game?
I think it's his brain. It's his mindset.
Yeah, definitely. Like he's trying.
He's broken
so hard. Mm-hmm. He's wanting all of a sudden to be a running quarterback now, or a scrambling quarterback.
Oh my gosh!
He's doing some weird stuff. I don't know if it's the coach. He's got a new coach and everything, so maybe it's them.
I just think he's just so desperate. He's coming up on the end of his legacy. Like, he needs to shit or get off the pot.
Yeah, and I think he's shitting.
Yeah, I think so, too. Cordero Patterson is 6'2" and 220 pounds.
That's pretty big. I mean, for an NFL player, I guess.
Drew Brees was 6 foot, and we talked about how tiny he is. So this guy's only 2 inches taller. Probably. I mean, maybe. They lie on these things, too.
Oh, yeah. So he could be 6'8".
He's like 5'11" and 3/4. So, yeah, I think Matt Ryan, I think it's just Matt is coming up on the end of his career and panicking. Yeah. And so.
Yeah, he's playing horrible football.
Yeah, but it just reeks of desperation. Mm-hmm. And
I agree with you.
And I think, the team eventually is running out of excuses for him. I mean, how many coaches have they gone through? Personnel.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, it's a shame to see. I mean, I don't like the Falcons, but they're my least hated NFC South team. And I've always liked Matt Ryan. He's I've always thought he's underrated, but this year he looks like how everybody kind of has seen him as. Mm-hmm. There's kind of a bumbling quarterback back there. Anyhow.
The Giants beat the Raiders. So that was kind of a surprise.
Good Lord. Now, we said last year that the Raiders were going to just implode. We were off by a year.
Well, I thought it would be because of John Gruden would make them implode, but he's not even there anymore. They don't have that excuse. They should have kept him on so then they could point the finger at him.
Man, they are a mess over there.
I know.
They started off so good, too.
Yeah. Well, it's all these off the field things.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily how they're playing, although they got beat by the Giants. Okay, and here's a big one. Tennessee beat the Rams.
Oh, I know.
We were in Tennessee this weekend, so you're welcome, guys.
Yes, it was our
presence.
Yes, there you go. And they didn't just beat them. I mean, they punched them in the mouth.
Oh my God, they beat the crap out of Matt Stafford.
The whole game, they were just out physically dominated those guys.
Yeah, Matt Stafford looked bad.
And Tennessee is, I think, the only old school football team, that still plays old school football, attacking and blocking. The Baltimore does, but Tennessee's, they're going to run it down your throat. They're just going to out physical you. That's their whole game plan. They ain't out there doing trick plays and long bombs and stuff.
Yeah. If you did not watch that game, you should watch it.
It was a good game.
Great.
Yeah, the Rams.
Fantastic.
The announcer said, McVay looks like what was it he said? He's got
deer in the
headlights. He hasn't looked this way since the Super Bowl.
Yes. Y'all, you need to clip this. It's going to happen again in the playoffs, I think.
The Rams?
Yeah, the Rams. Okay, so coming off a loss like that, you only really, I feel like you have one kind of cycle to redeem yourself before it gets in your head and sticks with you that you can't make it past this point. Yeah. And so, especially with Sean McVay losing like that so early in his head coaching career, and he's a young guy, I don't think he quite has the resiliency to come back from that. So I'm going to call it, they're going to get to the playoffs and shit the bed.
Wow. They might not even get there, if Arizona keeps it up and some of the other teams in the NFC South rise up like they're looking like.
That's true.
The Stafford pulled a Patrick Mahomes, the Mahomes effect during that game. He was being tackled in the end zone, he was being spun around, literally did a 360 and just threw the ball. Just like,
and that's when it got intercepted near the end zone.
Yes.
You're like, come on.
The Patrick Mahomes effect, the Mahomes effect throughout the league. We said we're doing a video on this. We're going to do it. You got to do it. We've been documenting it all year.
We have a list.
Yes, it's amazing at how many every game. Like I said, even Matt Ryan is doing it where they're just, they're getting tackled and they'll just chunk the ball up and try and make these spectacular plays that 9 times out of 10 turn out crappy.
And here's what used to happen is they would do those, but they would throw them away out of bounds. Now they're not doing that. They're throwing it in the field of play. Just it's up for grabs. So,
well, who was it we saw threw it over their head backwards? Oh God,
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, I can't remember
Probably
who it was.
Josh Allen.
And I almost want to say he did it with two hands, like
oh my God,
it looked like. But it's just bad. It's horrible quarterback play this year. Just bad stuff. You put that in with a horrible referee, and some of these games are just becoming unwatchable.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so
all right.
So yes, the underdogs won this week, and all the teams we needed to win won. All the teams we needed to lose lost, except for the Arizona Cardinals, and they ended up winning without their starting quarterback, their number one receiver. They had a bunch of starters out.
What happened?
And still dominated.
What happened to Kyler Murray?
Was it COVID? No, I can't remember.
Let's see. So they played San Francisco.
Yeah. Which San Francisco, I love John Lynch and everything, but they got to do something. They need a house cleaner. Shanahan sucks. And, that team just is not.
Oh, my God. They let Colt McCoy put up 249 yards and a touchdown. Dang. And put up 31 points. Wow.
Yeah, and it wasn't even that close. I mean, Arizona.
Yes, 31-17. Like, it was not.
Yeah, no, I'm saying it wasn't even that close. It was a bad beatdown.
Good grief.
Basically by Arizona's
Ooh.
second string.
Wow. All right.
All right, so back to Bucs news. What
Okay,
else?
Bucks. We keep getting derailed. That's all right, though. Richard Sherman and Dee Delaney both were full speed in practice on Wednesday, so that's good news coming up.
Now, SMB should be back Sunday, right?
I don't know. I know that he is practicing, but let me see if he's on the injury report.
Last I heard,
See what
SMB
that- I want to say yes. I believe that you are right, but
and Carlton Davis, how's he looking? We got any word on him?
neither one is on the injury report, so it looks
so-
like they should be good to go.
Woohoo!
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Got some rest. JPP tweeted about his shoulder, which is very unusual for him.
Yeah, I know.
Like, normally he does not talk about this. So he tweeted and said, here's the tweet: "I'm barely getting any sleep with this shoulder injury. I've had my share of injuries, but this one by far the worst of them all." Which, you blow your hand off and a rotator cuff is worse. Like, that's wow. He said, "I already broke my promise to myself, so I'm going to thug it out until I can't." So he's never this vocal about injuries. And so this must be, and for him not to be sleeping, that's just, that's concerning to me.
Yeah. Jamal Dean, according to Pro Football Focus, who, we trust
love much.
They have him. Quarterbacks have a 32.1 passer rating when targeting him in zone coverage. He's number one in all quarterbacks across the league. Now, of course, this is coming from Pro Football Focus, who I don't even know how they could do that because they don't look at the all 22. They just look at broadcast, and you can't see what the cornerbacks are doing there. So take that with a grain of salt, but I thought I'd bring it up because
Interesting.
Yeah, Jamal Dean, which I don't think that's really true. I don't think Jamal Dean has played that great this year. He's had some good plays, but he's also screwed up quite a bit. So, I think when Carlton Davis and SMB come back, we're not going to see that big of a difference in our secondary. Like I've said, these guys that we plugged in, they've done great. Dozier had a horrible week last week.
Yeah.
A lot of it was missed tackles, though, but he did get beat on some big passes. But
I don't begrudge people for that, though. Especially backups. And he was on the practice squad like 3 weeks ago.
Right, yeah.
So I just don't. I'm like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
If someone like SMB or Carlton Davis had that kind of game, I think it would be a different story.
Yeah.
So, okay, NFC South news. You got any more Bucs news?
Yes.
Okay.
I got some huge news.
Oh my gosh, what?
Well, Mike Evans is one touchdown away from tying Mike Allstott's franchise record for touchdowns.
Woo.
And he's probably going to get that playing Washington this week. He might even break it. If he gets 2, he's going to take the record.
I hope Tom Brady throws that ball in the stands.
Tom will. That's great. Good
man.
one. Yes. No, that would be awesome, and that would be so Tom Brady too.
Yeah, it'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, but this is the touchdown record excludes quarterbacks. Mike Allstott has had it since 2003, I think it is. And he is sitting at 2006. He has 71. Mike Evans has 70, and he did it a lot quicker than Mike Allstott too. He's actually done it pretty damn quick compared to most people in the league. Evans' average is 3.8 points a game, so that's not too shabby.
How's he kicking field goals?
How's he getting that 0.8?
How's he?
But this is kind of a big deal. There's only one active NFL player that has franchise touchdown records for their team, and he's on our team. It's Rob Gronkowski. Mm-hmm. He has the franchise record for the New England Patriots.
Are any of them still with the team though? Like Mike's the only one?
No, there are no active NFL franchise team touchdown record holders, except for Gronkowski. When Mike Evans gets it, there will be 2 active players, and they'll both be on the Buccaneers. First time that's ever happened. It's a really big thing. It's because these records do not get broken often. I mean, you got to figure the Green Bay Packers, their touchdown leader is from 1945.
Wow.
Don Hudson.
What?
Yes, he has 105. The Giants, 1964, Frank Gifford, 78.
You
The
know,
Browns,
if Aaron Rodgers didn't get so pissy with all his receivers, there could have been one in the modern era.
Jim Brown with the Browns from 1965, 126 touchdowns. The Jets, Don Maynard, 1972, 88. I mean, this stuff does not happen often. And, some of the newer teams have franchises or records that get broken more often. Mm-hmm. Marquise Colston with the Saints, he got the franchise record in 2015, but Alvin Kamara is right on his ass and is going to take it this year. The Marquise Colston had 72. He got that in 2015. Alvin Kamara has 66, so he's only 6 away.
He'll get it this season. He might
Kamara,
get it in one game.
Yeah. Alvin Kamara averages 5.9 points a game.
Wow.
That's incredible. That's like the highest ever. It is really outstanding. So this is a really big deal. Like I said, Allstott got this back in 2006. So it's been 15 years. And Mike Evans is getting ready to break it. So, and he's just going to add on. It's going to be pretty big. The largest... The most touchdown, the franchise with the most touchdown, the leader with the most touchdowns is, of course, Jerry Rice with 187.
Whoa.
And then behind him is Emmitt Smith with the Cowboys. He got that in 2002 at 164. So, those are, and LaDainian Tomlinson had 153. He got that in 2009. So that's unusual to have that many. Most of them are right around the 70 touchdown mark.
Well, I mean, most receivers don't, or, most players don't make it that long in the league.
Right.
To have a 14, 15-year career, that's unheard of almost.
Right. Yeah. And what Evans is on 8. I think this is his 8th year.
Sounds about right.
Something like that. So, he's been moving pretty quick up this list. And it's a big deal. I really hope he ties it at Washington and then breaks it at Tampa, because Mike Allstott will be there, and I think they'll have something special, and it needs to be something special. It's a pretty big deal. Mm-hmm. There's only been 8 franchise leaders have played in the past decade. I mean, I'm telling you, this stuff is rare. Other Buck stats. Tom Brady is leading the league in passing touchdowns with 25. He's leading what?
Mike Evans was drafted in 2014.
So 7 years. 8 years. No, this is 8th year.
Yeah. 8, yeah.
Everybody could hear you doing the count.
I was counting on my fingers.
See you on video. Count on your fingers.
What?
Oh, I like them pretty and dumb. So Tom Brady leads in passing touchdowns with 25. He leads in passing yards per game at 331. Pass attempts a game at 42.9, which, that one you're like, I'd rather not lead in that one.
Yeah.
And passes completed per game at 28.9. So not bad there. Jalen Darden has the longest kickoff return in the league.
Oh, cool.
43 yards. Yeah.
That one time he did it.
Right. Mike Edwards is tied for first in interception touchdowns.
Mm-hmm. Got 2 in the one game.
Yeah. With Trayvon Diggs of Dallas. He's also got 2.
Oh.
So those are our leaders in the stat category. You know how we love stats here.
I know how much
Buccaneers
you love the
Observer,
stats.
but
I know.
That kind of stuff is fun.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Bragging
those
rights.
are records, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, as far as, our defensive stats, team stats and all that, I don't have that. Maybe we'll have it. But this is the halfway point of the season.
Mm-hmm.
So Just thought I'd throw that out there. See where we're at, what we're doing.
Oh, you need to look at the rush yards per game because remember last time we talked about the defense, all the teams in the top 5 with rush yards allowed, they had all had a bye week and we had not. And so now that the bye week is over, we need to see where we stand in the rushing.
So you want to look at
where's our rushing defense rank? Because we had dropped down to like 5th, but we had an extra game.
That's right.
On everybody else.
Yeah.
So while you're looking that up, we can start. If you're done with Bucs news, I will start on the league news. Big news today for the NFC South. Cam Newton is back, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited about this. I can't wait. We don't play them until week 16. It's the day after Christmas. It's going to be another Christmas present, guys. You know, I have a relative that is a Panthers fan that lives in the area, and he is begging us to go to that game. Is this going to be the carrot, Ralph, that gets you to that game?
Might be.
I know. And all the fans still have their number 1 jerseys. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Yes, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are now 2nd behind the New Orleans Saints in rushing. That's yards per game.
Okay.
We both have 8 games. They have 590. We have 624 total yards. But they're beating us in yards per rush attempt. They have 3.2. We have 3.9.
Ugh.
So that's quite a big thing. We are beating them in touchdowns. We've only allowed 4 rushing touchdowns all season. They've allowed 5. And
in your face.
They're right behind them is the Bills. Now the Bills are leading in all defensive categories across the board. Mm-hmm. They're top 5 everywhere. And offensively. They were at one point. They were the number 1 offense and the number 1 defense.
A lot of good that's going to do them in the playoffs when they completely.
You don't think they're going to make it this year?
No. They do have this going for them that the AFC is pretty weak. So there's that. But I don't have a whole lot of hope for them. They might prove me wrong.
They might.
We'll see. Cam Newton it's a 1-year deal worth up to $10 million, which I cannot believe.
That's insane.
I know. So 4.5 is fully guaranteed, and then there's $1.5 million roster bonus. So the rest must be incentives. $4 million in incentives. And what's the incentive? Like, throw a 30-yard pass. $500,000. Just one.
They don't even have to complete it. Just get it 30 yards down the field. We were talking about this the other day. I was like, I knew Cam Newton was done with the Panthers when they needed a Hail Mary. Mm-hmm. And I think it was a 60-yarder, 50-yarder. It wasn't that long. It might even been 40-yarder. And they pulled Cam Newton out and put...
I cannot remember this. Greer. Was it Greer?
Yeah, they put the backup in.
Yeah, it's
for that one
guy.
Play.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he's done.
Yeah.
If you can't throw a 40, 50-yard pass, they're not going to keep you around.
Yeah. Sam Darnold is out 4 to 6 weeks because of a shoulder injury. So that's why they added Cam. But they're starting PJ Walker, I think, this weekend. Is what I saw. Y'all fact check me on that and make sure that's right. I'd seen that, but I don't have that. Okay.
Yeah, they benched. Dude.
Well, now he's hurt.
Oh, yeah, right.
4 to 6 weeks. Shoulder injury.
He ain't hurt. They
gave up what for him? Like a ton of draft picks. It's sad. That's sad.
Yeah, and then you said he's shocked, and then I watched him on game film. I was like, oh, he's horrible. Mm-hmm. What are they doing? I don't know what. Sometimes I don't know what these coaches see in players. Mm-mm. Like I said, sometimes the players that are really good don't make teams, and players that suck get starting jobs. Mm-hmm. I don't get it.
Yeah,
I guess they're coachable.
Something they must interview well. something.
Yeah, the locker room presence might be a big issue. And then there's always personal connections. Your dad, or my dad used to drink with your dad, whatever.
Yeah, colleges, like your alma mater.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, so big news this week. Odell Beckham was released from the Browns per his request.
It's so weird to me that that's big news. I mean, OBJ was big at one point, but I think he's not even the top 100th receiver this year.
I know. And what's crazy is the Giants, I feel like, have a string of receivers like this in the last decade who were just studs for like a few years and then just dropped right off. Victor Cruz.
Yeah, I remember him.
I mean, he was huge, the salsa dancing. And I think wasn't there another one after him? And then OBJ. They just had a string of these. And now. So OBJ was not happy at the Browns for undisclosed reasons and then asked them to release him. So he cleared waivers. There was discussion whether he would end up at the Buccaneers.
That was shot down pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah, BA said we got too many letters. We already got AB. Yeah. We don't need OBJ. And so OBJ went to the Rams.
The Rams. Yep. Which, again, that's almost as bad as going to the Buccaneers. They got Woods. They got Cooper Kupp.
I know. Why?
Yeah.
They just let go of Deshaun Jackson, who was pissy because he wasn't getting enough targets.
Yeah. Well,
and then they're going to add another receiver.
Another diva.
Who has a tendency to get pissy. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But hey, you do you, Rams. We'll see you in the playoffs when you choke. Okay. You got any more league news?
Yes, I do. I want to touch on. Do I really even want to go here? The Aaron Rodgers stuff.
I wondered if we were going to talk about this.
Yeah.
I wasn't planning on it, but all right.
Right. And we tried to avoid the politics and all this stuff, but this is just ridiculous. 6 of the top 10 stories on Pro Football Talk or CBSSports.com were about Aaron Rodgers and the vaccine fiasco. All 5 of the top 5 were about it. This is why I can't take the media seriously. Now, Michael David Smith, he's the managing editor for Pro Football Talk, which is CBS Sports. Now, he wrote an article. This is a top article, just blasting Rodgers. And the title of the article was, Aaron Rodgers claims he's a victim of the woke mob and cancel culture. The article, the title itself was a lie because Aaron Rodgers never claimed he was a victim.
Right.
That was what
he said
Michael
was, they're probably going to come after me.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Right. And this Michael David Smith guy, this is the managing editor of Pro Football Talk, the CBS Sports. I mean, this is the big honcho. He's writing an article. One, he lies right off the bat in the title. And it's, oh gosh, I'm just going to read the article real quick. It's short, but just the biasness in this, the dripping with contempt, anyhow. Here it goes. It says, Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers is painting himself as a victim after it revealed this week that he got COVID-19 and is not vaccinated, despite his previous public claim that he was, quote, immunized, end quote, which he knew had been widely interpreted as getting the vaccine. Quote, I realize I'm in the crosshairs of the woke mob right now, so before the final nail gets put in my cancel culture casket, I'd like to set the record straight on some of the blatant lies that are out there about me now, end quote, Rodgers said. But Rodgers did not cite any specific, quote, lies, end quote, that have been told about him. Instead, he launched into what he himself described as a, quote, diatribe, end quote, about a, quote, witch hunt going across the league, end quote. Rodgers claims to have done his own research and that he has an allergy to an ingredient in the Moderna and Pfizer vaccines. And he said that his decision to seek alternative treatments was, quote, what was best for my body, end quote. That is a highly dubious claim. But even if it were true, what Rodgers seems not to realize is that the decision to get vaccinated is not just about his own body, but about the health and well-being of everyone around him. Rodgers chose to selfishly put people around him at an increased risk of catching COVID-19 from him. Now Rodgers is out for at least 10 days and will miss Sunday's game. Now, this should have been an opinion piece.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's
Absolutely.
definitely written with a lot of sauce.
Sauce.
not source, sauce. And this guy, Michael Smith, he mocks Rodgers about launching into a diatribe about a witch hunt going across the league.
Mm-hmm.
He mocked him.
Mm-hmm.
As Smith is literally doing a witch hunt on him.
Yeah.
This guy, Smith, tweeted out and called for this health insurance company that Aaron Rodgers worked with to cancel him.
And they
to drop
did.
him as a sponsor.
Yeah.
And he did. But
Yeah.
this Smith guy is saying there is no witch hunt. It's ridiculous that Aaron Rodgers would say that. And then he goes on and he literally calls Aaron Rodgers a putz. This is the managing editor of Pro Football Talk, CBS Sports.
And I just love it when these people who write about sports mock athletes. Say, you know, because he says, oh, Aaron Rodgers says he's done the research and he knows what's best for his body. And this writer is mocking that.
Yes, I know.
I want to see what kind of physical specimen Michael Smith is to where he thinks he's in a position to mock an elite athlete about his health.
That's right. And, you know, it's ridiculous. This stuff has gotten ridiculous. I mean, this guy had numerous tweets about Aaron Rodgers. Numerous. And a couple of days ago, a Oakland Raiders first-round draft pick drove 156 miles an hour drunk and crashed into a car, burning a woman and a dog alive. It's on video. I watched it. It's absolutely horrible. And not a single tweet by this guy about that shit. Not a single article about it. Now, Rodgers didn't kill anybody. Aaron Rodgers didn't kill anyone. As far as I know, he didn't even get anyone sick. But yet he is being demonized. And, you know, they're calling for him to be suspended, fined. They're calling for his sponsors to cancel him. And all this stuff. This Michael Smith guy is also, he's a progressive Democrat. He's got all these tweets on his thing bashing anybody that's, you know, supports anybody that he doesn't agree with politically. You know, anybody on the right is just a piece of shit. He bashed football star Herschel Walker because he's a Republican. I mean, he just basically came out and said this guy he knows nothing about politics. He's the token black man. It's disgusting at how these people act. And these are writers. They're supposed to be unbiased, but that's gone. That's gone. That's out the window. He's blatantly political all over his Twitter account. And, you know, he brings it right up in everybody's face. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar claimed that Aaron Rodgers, he accused him of being selfish and harmful for not taking this vaccine. Now, everybody in the media, everybody has just been bashing Aaron Rodgers like he's fucking Stalin or Hitler or some crap. And so Kareem Abdul-Jabbar comes out and says that. This coming from a man whose son just got sentenced for stabbing his neighbor in the head multiple times. Yeah, of course, his son got a light sentence. It's basically probation over a garbage can dispute.
Oh, my God.
Okay. Why no moral outrage over that?
Yeah.
Why do we allow crap like that? You know, the DUI, this guy burning alive a woman and a dog in a car. And everybody's just like, oh, you know what happens. We'll cut him and just move on. What's his name? Antoine, the other Raiders guy who, you know, had a bunch of guns and he was threatening to shoot somebody on Twitter and everything.
Oh my God.
You know, we're like, oh, okay. So, you know, they cut him and we move on. And, you know, we got Lovie Smith. He's the defensive coordinator for the Houston Texans. His son was charged with sex trafficking. We got Andy Reid. His son murdered somebody in a DUI case.
Yeah, she didn't die.
Oh, she didn't die. That's right. A
Seriously
young girl,
maimed her. I mean, she's
coma. Probably
Yeah.
never walk again. All that good
Right.
stuff. Last time we checked in on that. You know, and what do we hear from the media on that? On these things? Nothing. Not a thing.
Mm-mm.
But yet we're
I mean-
supposed to couch faint and have this moral panic because a guy chooses not to get a vaccine from a virus that's been around for 2 goddamn years. I'm sick of it. I'm absolutely sick of it. This shit is cowardly. Now, this Michael Smith guy, you know, he's a progressive Democrat. You know, he likes to put his politics out there and throw it in everybody's face, and that's fine. But he needs to fucking listen to Jim Hightower, who is an activist progressive, you know, who was, you know, one of the biggest writers in the 80s and 90s, in the 70s. He said the opposite of courage is not cowardice, it's conformity. Even a dead fish can go with the flow. And that's what we're seeing across the board. All these cowards talk. I don't care what your standing is on the vaccine or your politics and all that kind. I don't care. But don't be a coward about it. You know, don't let a guy kill a woman, you know, because he's drunk driving and you have nothing to say about that. But then a guy decides not to get a vaccine and you're going to couch faint over it and act like it's the worst thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to write article after article after article. Like I said, 7 of the top 10 articles on Pro Football Talk were about Aaron Rodgers, just blasting him. And the number one, and all the comments were the same way. Everybody was like, blah, blah, blah. 227 comments on the top article that Mike Smith wrote about how horrible of a person Aaron Rodgers is. Not a single article about Ruggs. Not one. No, they did write an article saying he got cut. That was it. No commentary, no opinion. You know, do we have an epidemic of coaches' sons, of athletes' sons going across the league? I don't know. We wouldn't know. The media doesn't talk about it. You know, obviously, Andy Reid has an issue with sons. Obviously, Lovie Smith has an issue with sons. You know, Tony Dungy's son committed suicide. A horrible, horrible, tragic event. But maybe we need to be asking what's going on with these celebrity sons. Nah, we're not going to talk about that. Let's talk about Aaron Rodgers not getting a vaccine.
I know.
It's ridiculous. Here's the thing. You know, I remember when the left was a champion against big pharma, big business, big corporations, the FBI, the CIA, all this good stuff. But now they're getting tattoos of big pharma. They're celebrating big pharma making billions of dollars a quarter over forcing vaccines on everybody. They push big pharma products. I mean, they're essentially big pharma salesmen. The richest people in the world are all Democrats. They're all on the left. All the corporations are leftists. You can't, I mean, look at the NFL. They push Democratic messages on the back of everybody's helmets on the field. It's everywhere. They actively cheer on the FBI and the CIA. Hell, the news organization, CNN, MSNBC, hire these people. The CIA and the FBI are now giving you the news. And that's what we're getting all across the board. Mm-hmm. I don't want politics in my entertainment. Keep it out of my face. I don't want your religion in my face. I don't want your sexual preference in my face. I don't want your politics in your face. I don't want your economic policy beliefs in my face. I don't care about any of that. I am watching football for entertainment. And it's starting to piss me off. I am sick of COVID. Sick of it. Just absolutely. It's never going away, people. It's impossible. It's literally impossible for us to get rid of it. It's never going to go away. It's endemic. It's here forever. We're going to have to live with it. The Spanish flu happened 100 years ago. We're still living with that. It's flus, influenza, coronaviruses. When they come, they're here forever. We can't get rid of them because you can't inoculate every person, every animal, everything on the planet. You can't do it. Smallpox was an exception because there was no animal reservoirs. And it was very hard to transmit it. So it was easy when people got it to isolate them and then go in and vaccinate everybody. But that's not how this is going to happen. So it's never going away. We need to just stop this mess and just move on with our lives.
And here's the thing, too, is the NFL just put out new COVID rules. They adjusted some of their regulations with regard to COVID. Mm-hmm. And one of the things they're allowing now is shared water bottles.
Yes. How idiotic is that? I mean, but it's a squirt in your mouth. You can now squirt into more than one person's mouth.
Right. But here's the thing about that, guys. Weren't we told it's the droplets?
Right.
It's the droplets.
The droplets.
Don't you think when you're squirting stuff in your mouth, there's going to be some backsplash?
Right.
It's going to get back on the water bottle?
Yes.
Isn't that how the droplets work? Isn't that what the mask is supposed to do?
Yeah.
But so how does this make sense? And that was Aaron Rodgers' whole point. Nothing. And what we've been saying this for months.
Right.
Ever since they came out with the COVID regulations, we were like, well, it's kind of apparent to us that it's not about coronavirus and controlling that. It's about punishing people who do not conform. Right. And that's been apparent from the beginning. Aaron Rodgers is one of the few to come out and say that, only after he got backed into a corner, I might add. Right. So when you're talking about cowards earlier.
Yeah, I'm not giving Aaron Rodgers no reward.
I don't think so either. I mean, Cole Beasley is the only one that came out and said, hey, this doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And they've been...
Yeah, well, it didn't make sense when we pointed out that they excluded union personnel on the sideline from having to deal with any of this COVID stuff. Like the virus knows the difference between somebody that's in a union and somebody that isn't.
Like that matters.
And
if it's if it's as deadly and it's a disease that is truly going to kill a lot of people and it's very dangerous, you don't make exceptions like that.
No.
You just don't.
No.
So
I'm just sick of it. I'm tired of it. I don't want to hear about it anymore. And I definitely don't want it in my face. We have a nation of hall monitors now and crossing guards who would think that it's their right to go around and chastise anybody who doesn't follow protocol. That's not how I want to live. That's not how I'm going to live. I don't care. I'm extremely independent. I am an independent person. And Molly will attest to this. And tell me to do something, even if it's for my own good, I ain't going to do it if you tell me to do it.
He'll never do it. I gave that up. I learned that real early.
Yes.
Anything I told Ralph he had to do, it was never going to happen. And in fact, he was going to do the exact opposite.
Right. And if I'm forced to do it, I'm going to do a crappy job at it. Make sure you never ask me to do it again. But here's how ridiculous this stuff is. Dakota Dozier, a Minnesota Vikings player, fully vaccinated, had to be rushed to the emergency room.
Because he couldn't breathe.
Because he couldn't breathe, COVID symptoms, whatever. We don't know what's going on there. But
he tested positive. He has it, yeah.
He's vaccinated, and he's got it.
Fully vaccinated and hospitalized. When was the last time that you heard of an unvaccinated player that got rushed to the hospital like that?
Never. Well, no, last year.
There was one.
There was two who got sick last year.
Yeah.
And one went to the hospital. It was a Miami player.
Yeah. And he's still dealing with issues, I think.
Right.
What you were talking about.
Exactly. So now we got vaccinated people who are going to the emergency room and stuff like that. And, Aaron Rodgers, he gets it. He's just,
I don't know. He's doing interviews from his couch, so I don't think it's...
Yeah, he seems fine.
Yeah.
So the vaccine, I can't deal with it anymore. I'm sick of it. Keep it out of my face. And that's why I don't read and I don't watch ESPN. I don't watch the NFL Network. I just don't watch this stuff anymore. I haven't in years, but I happen to stumble on Pro Football I was looking at some stats or something. I stumbled on that, read up on all this mess. I was like, you got to be crap. Seriously? So then I look into it, and it's ridiculous. So you just stop it, people. Stop it. Let me enjoy my football without telling me that I need to support gay people or that I need to, stop hate. I mean, how stupid is that? That's stupid. Stop hate. What are we doing right there with Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, we're hating on
We're
people.
hating on Aaron Rodgers. You're going against.
I mean, I'm going to hate on him no matter what.
Right. We don't even like Aaron Rodgers. We hate him anyhow.
I know. Y'all quit making me defend Aaron Rodgers. Stop it.
I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of it. I want to watch my football. And if you're going to take away the big hits and all the,
the trash talk and
the trash talk, the taunting, you can't hit them high, you can't hit them low. It's going to be turned into two-hand text. Then I'm just going to stop watching it. I'm going to get a cabin in Tennessee. And we're just going to, I'll take up hockey.
Something.
I'm just tired of it. You guys, just stop. Just
make it stop.
And all these media people, all of them, are nothing but cowards. They all march to the same drum. I think all the Buccaneers media too, they're the same way, except for I think Joe Buck's fan, and that's because they're not, they're fans first.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't even think they like the media people that they deal with.
I don't think so either.
And we have confirmation that the media people there don't like Joe Buck's fans. So, just stop, man. Just stop. I'm tired of it. I don't want to hear about, it's been 2 years. 2 years. We've been locked in our house. We've worn masks. We've gotten shots. We got masks on our kids. You can't stand near people. I'm done. Now around here, it's not that bad. We don't have as many restrictions as some place. We go to some places, though, you got to wear masks still. And you're like, what the, we went to Tennessee.
Oh my God. It's like a different planet.
No, totally different planet. They don't have any.
It's like it doesn't exist there. There's no, here we have signs everywhere. You see people
stuff on the floor, staying 6 feet apart. People still wear masks. I didn't see a single mask. No, we did.
I saw like a handful over 4 days.
Yeah.
And
that was when we were by the college town.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's here to stay. There's no getting around it. We got to move on with our lives. But these guys just want to use it as a tool. They just want to use it to beat people over the heads with, man. That's it.
Well, I think that they're in general low status. A lot of males, low status beta males who this is how they wield power because they're never going to be able to do it any other way.
You talk about the media people?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, okay, let's move on to the football team.
You want to do that tomorrow? We're at an hour and 15 minutes now.
Okay, sure.
So, guys, we'll have a podcast out Friday night.
Okay.
We'll do it Friday night.
All right.
And it'll be the preview for the Redskins. Boy, we went on some rants tonight.
Oh, my gosh.
That's what happens when
we were cranky.
when you get pent up.
I know.
I've been in a car for 4 days.
I know. We haven't had a podcast like the whole week.
Mm-hmm.
We just kind of been stewing in our own, things. The things.
Stewing in our things.
I hope that was a good outlet. I feel better. How you feeling?
Yeah, it just needed to be said. And I'd like to go deeper into this stuff and really talk about it, but this isn't the forum for it. But, I'm just...
Well, it just feels like everyone else uses it for that's what's so frustrating to me. And it's with the players as well. When they start advocating for their issues, they go, well, I have a platform, so I'm going to use it. Mm-hmm. Or if they're not using their platform for things, they get shamed about it. Like you'll see it in the Twitter comments all the time. Well, you have this platform. You should really be talking about this issue that I care about. And so, I get conflicted about it.
Yes, very much so. I mean, I've got a lot that I would like to say about all this stuff, but one, this is a Buccaneers podcast. I like to try and keep it to football and Buccaneers, not politics and sexual preferences and all that stupid stuff. And two, I don't want to get banned.
Mm-hmm.
we live in a society now where you can't say certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's true.
you don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I never know. So I just kind of try to keep stuff as straight and narrow as I can, to stay in the lane. But when the number one news story is about a 2-year-old virus and a guy not getting vaccinated over that, that's the number one story in the football world. When all this other stuff is going on, mm-hmm. It's sickening. It is sickening. And, we've got referees who are throwing games, who are making outlandish calls that make no sense to anybody, not even the guys in the booth guys who, they really try to support the officials as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And, when they can't even understand what's going on, and you got, I can't even talk football with people without them, just saying, I don't know if I can watch this anymore. It's just, it's every play is a penalty. The penalties don't make sense. They review it. They show it in slow motion for 50 different angles, and I still don't know what the penalty is, and then it's too much. And I feel like I got to say something, just stop. Just stop. So anyhow.
I'm with you.
That's my rant. All right, guys, this has gone way too far over, and I ain't gonna apologize for that because I don't apologize for nothing. But tomorrow we will have the preview, and that's better anyhow because the injury report for both teams comes out tomorrow. So we'll probably do a quick one tomorrow. It'll be probably 30, 45 minutes, and we'll just cover straight up. It'll just be a preview of the Redskins game. What do you think?
Sounds good.
Sounds good?
Let's do it.
All right, guys. We do appreciate you. We appreciate all of our supporters. If you want to help out with some sponsorship and stuff, click the link in the description. We'll go into that a little bit further tomorrow, too. Don't have time to cover all that. So, all right. Till next time.
Go Bucks.